We'll call to order the meeting for the City Council of Statesboro. We will have our Pledge of Allegiance and prayer by Councilman Philbrook.
If everybody would please bow your head. Dear Lord, the world is crazy right now. We are so angry, anxious, stressed, almost to the point of breaking. We're pointing fingers, we're placing blame, and we're creating divisions when we should be coming together to find solutions. We know there are problems out there, but until we put aside the hate and the personal animosities, we're never going to move forward together. Help us be part of the solution. Help us be better people and to be better to each other. Help us each to find a way through our own personal hurt and pain, find a way to come together. We need more love in the world, Lord, and please help us find it. Be with us today, be with the council today, be with the people in this room today, as we make decisions for the city of Statesboro, that they may be full of wisdom, positivity, and help uplift all of our citizens. In your name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll move down to agenda item 3, recognitions and public presentations. We have a presentation by Richard Deal with Lanier Deal and Proctor on how the city financials ended fiscal year 2020.
Okay, we went over the financials in the work session. I'm going to make this even briefer. Unless you have any questions, we kind of looked at the government-wide financial statements on the city-wide. The total assets for the city are $144,677,000. The total liabilities for the city, $36,954,000. And your net position, total net position for the city is $107,833,000, which was an increase of about $317,000 for the year. The city is very strong financially. The expenses on the governmental activities for the year were $26.7 million. Total revenues for the governmental activities were $26.2 million. The general fund, primary operating fund for the city, has a fund balance of $7.1 million, which represents about 49% of your annual expenditures and transfers out, which is very good. Rule of thumb, as we discussed earlier, is 25%, so very strong there with the general fund. The SPLOST revenues between the 13 and the 19 SPLOST took in about $1,553,000 on the 13 SPLOST, and then the new 2019 SPLOST took in about $3,597,000. And your T-SPLOST was very good to the city. You took in $5,523,000 for fiscal year 20. And your proprietary funds, your enterprise funds are doing well. Have a total net position for the enterprise funds of $63,636,000. In your internal service funds, you have a total net position of $1,254,000. Again, overall, the city's in great financial shape. You compliment the city council and your finance department and your entire city for the folks that working within the city. Do a great job. Be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Council, any questions? Seeing that there's none, thank you so much. Okay. We go down to agenda item 3B, which is a presentation to the finance department for receiving the Government Finance Officers Association Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in the financial reporting for the 2019 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. Dr. Cindy. Look like you made y'all look good. Behind the podium. I know, right? That's it. All right, thank you. There you go. All right. Okay. We'll move down to agenda item 4, which is public comments. Leah, do we have any comments?
No, Mayor.
Okay, we'll move down to agenda item 4, which is consideration of a motion to approve the consent agenda. A part of the consent agenda is item A, which is approval of minutes for our council meeting for April the 6th, executive session meetings for March the 16th, and executive session minutes for April the 6th. Consideration of motion to approve for the approval of the surplus of 9 vehicles in the Statesboro Police Department. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 6, which is the public hearing and consideration of a motion to approve application RZ 21-03-01. Lindsay Martin requests a zoning map amendment from the R15 single-family residential zoning district to the HOC highway-oriented commercial zoning district on 2 acres of property in order to construct a multi-tenant commercial building at 141 Williams Road. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Kathy, if you'll give us some insight on this, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. Lindsay Martin requests a zoning map amendment from the R15 Single Family Residential Zoning District to the HOC Highway-Oriented Commercial Zoning District on a 2-acre parcel in order to construct a multi-tenant commercial building on the site located at 141 Williams Road. The subject site currently contains 2 vacant duplexes which would be demolished upon granting of the zoning map amendment. The duplexes have been vacant for over 2 years and are currently in a state of blight. Surrounding uses to the property consist of a mixture of educational facilities, residential homes, religious facilities, and large commercial uses. So the location map shows the site outlined in red on Williams Road. The future land use plan map shows this area to be within the established residential neighborhood, although very near to that pink area, which is the commercial redevelopment character area. The zoning map shows this in the R15, but contiguous to the highway-oriented commercial, which is shown in that line yellow color. The subject property is on the top, and you'll see the 2 vacated duplex buildings. The adjacent property across the street is shown in the bottom photo, and that is the Board of Education offices. This top photo shows looking toward the east of the property, and the bottom photo shows looking toward the west of the property. Now, I did want to show you this site survey. This outlines the parcel, and the outline of the red color shows that part of the parcel that is outside of the wetlands area. Anything that's in the wetlands area, which is outside of the red outlined area, would have to get approval from the Army Corps of Engineers to disturb the wetlands. So staff recommends approval of RZ 21-0301. If this petition is approved by the Mayor and City Council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. 1, approval of this zoning map amendment does not grant the right to develop on the site without approval. All construction must be approved by the city. Secondly, development on the site may not disturb the wetlands in the area unless permitting is granted by the Army Corps of Engineers. And third, an acceptable landscaping plan must be submitted with the building permit showing the buffering as required for the adjacent residential developments. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on April 6, 2021, the Commission voted to approve the zoning map amendment with staff conditions by a vote of 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, is there anyone who wants to speak for this request?
I'm Lindsey Martin, and if there's any questions, I can answer. If there's not, it's kind of straightforward.
Okay. All right, so we'll move through it, and when council discussion comes, if they have any questions for you, they can call you up. Thank you. Is there anyone to speak against this request? All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any council discussion? All right.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. For my own edification and for other people who are watching this and listening to this, I would appreciate it if Mr. Penny or Jason or John Washington or somebody could clarify for me when there's wetlands and then when it's forested, when it's wooded, when it's part of the city's tree canopy. In order for somebody to clear trees and build on it, they have to go through the tree board, and if they can't put back 35% per acre, then they pay money into a fund where the city plants trees in other parts. Have I got it right, Jason? Or tell me how that works.
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is a wooded area that you're talking about developing, Mr. Martin?
Not
It's
really.
not? Okay, so it's wetlands. Well, there are some trees, so if you clear some of the trees, then they'll have to be replaced up to the 35% canopy?
Do you want me to come up and answer?
Yes.
The wetlands, we're not going into,
Good.
and, well, we can. We can, but it's a lot of work to do it, and we're right now, talked to some of the engineers, and we want to deed, that'll come later, the wetlands to the city, because they're using it, and I don't know if they want it or not, but if they don't, we'll keep it. But, I mean, but all the water runoff from the city comes in there. But if they don't want it, that's fine too, we'll keep it. We don't have a problem with that, but we're not going into the wetlands past the line right there. There's no sense for us to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not feasible, and the trees that are there are gonna stay, besides the shrubs, you know, the old grown-up junk that's there. We can build right up to the red line. But I'll probably put a buffer there, probably 10, 15 feet. It's 50 feet off the buildings now. But we might stay just like it is, or we might move back just a little, but we're not approaching on any wetlands or anything like that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
No, I just want to say that, I pass by there, because that's in my district.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
pass by there every day, and I was looking at those properties, so to put a new edifice over there, to support, you know, some of the families that could be living over there, I think that's a plus. I really do. And then at the same time, you're not going into the wetlands, so, hey,
Yeah.
that's a plus.
It's a lot of money and a lot of aggravation going to wetlands, trust
Yeah,
me.
it is, it is.
And no guarantee.
Yes, exactly.
Thank y'all.
All right, thank you. Any further council discussion? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve with staff conditions?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, let us show that agenda item 6 has passed. We'll move down to agenda item 7, which is a public hearing and consideration of a motion to approve application 521-03-02. Muhammad F. Al Shawagi requests a variance from Article 15, Section 1509, Table 4 of the Statesboro zoning ordinance in order to construct a building sign exceeding the allowed square footage on a 4.03 acre property located at 1825 Northside Drive East. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
All right, Kathy, can you give us some insight?
Yes, sir. Mohammed Al-Shawi requests a variance from, Article 15, Section 1509, Table 4 of the Statesboro zoning ordinance in order to place a building sign in excess of 60 square feet, pardon me, on a shared tenant building located at 1825 Northside Drive East. The applicant seeks to place a sign on the face of the building totaling 120 square feet which exceeds the general allowance of building signage by 100%. You'll see the site outlined in red. The street to the rear of this site is North Zeverauer, and the site fronts on Northside Drive East. The future land use map shows the purple area to be proposed for a neighborhood center. The zoning map shows this, the purple area to be commercial retail. And the top photo shows the subject site without the sign. That's where he's proposing to put the sign. The property to the south is shown in the bottom photo. The property to the north is shown in the top photo. And the corner property is shown in the bottom photo. Now this photo here shows the existing shopping center with the existing signs by the commercial uses that are currently operating there. And you can see the size of the signs. There is a larger sign, I will say, on the corner, which is the Sherwin-Williams paint sign. Now that is a larger frontage as opposed to the others. The applicant's location is directly behind the light pole there. Now, the signs for this district allow for either 60 square feet in size or 5% of the wall area. The Sherwin-Williams sign appears to have a larger wall area. But the applicant is requesting a 100% increase in terms of the size of the sign. And the next slide shows the sign that they're proposing, which is 5 feet high by 25 feet long. So it does cover the entire top wall area of this commercial use. Staff recommends denial of B 21-0302. If this petition is approved by the mayor and city council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. Approval of this variance does not grant the right to construct the associated sign without the review of a sign permit application. 2, additional signage on the building shall not be granted and would require a separate administrative approval. 3, should the applicant request additional signage that exceeds the aggregate square footage allotted to the business, the request must be approved with determination by the city council. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the planning commission on April 6, 2021, the commission recommended denial of variance request B 21-0302 on a 5-0 vote. And I guess the position of the staff is that the sign was just too big for the area. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Kathy. Is there anyone here to speak for the request? All right, is there anyone here to speak against the request? Anyone for? All right. Yes.
How y'all doing?
No, I'm good.
All right, I'm Ron Patterson. I was making that sign, and I was here to answer any questions that they might have for the sign, but, so are y'all saying that it's not gonna be permitted at all?
We haven't made a decision.
Oh,
We're still
okay.
in the public hearing
Okay.
spot. But if you would like to answer any questions, or if the council has any questions to ask, they'll do that during council discussion.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So there's nothing for me to answer right now?
No, just,
Okay.
we will assume you support it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, all right, good deal. All right, is there anyone here to speak against the request? All right, with that being said, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, council discussion.
So the only reason why the city is denying it is the size of the sign?
Yes, that's
It's
correct.
not in support of the standard size of signs that goes in that particular area? Is that correct?
Yes, for that zone, the size of the sign, the rules are either 60 square feet in size or 5% of the wall area. So the 60 square feet is larger than the size of the wall area. I'm sorry, or 5% of the wall area. So this 60 would be the larger size for the sign. They're requesting 120 square feet in size. So 100% additional size. The other businesses in the shopping center have followed the 60 square feet in size of the signs. It's hard to see there. If you back up a few more, I think you'll, yeah, there it is, okay. So you can see that. And their business is right behind that pole.
So Ms. Kathy, the difference is the Sherwin-Williams, we assume was grandfathered before the variance?
Yes, that's
The sign's
correct.
been there a while?
And it does have a larger frontage wall size as well. So I suspect that it was grandfathered in, but it probably isn't 100% of addition because the wall, the size of the wall is larger. Okay, but the other signs represent basically the 60 square feet, which is you can do either or, 60 square feet or the 5% of the wall size. And
So this is almost 100% of the wall size, because it's not a whole lot of frontage there to put a sign on.
that's right, because you have all the glass window. Could you switch back to the proposed sign? There you are. So
Zoom in a little closer, can you? Okay.
So the sign needs to be the size of the glass window?
no.
Smaller than that.
It needs to be smaller than that.
Mm.
It needs to be no more than 60 square feet. And that's 100 square feet.
And what was the purpose of this building in the first place? That it had to be 60 square feet? What was the purpose of it?
Yeah.
Well, that's the sign
I don't
ordinance.
understand it.
The history is we used to have a sign Nazi in town, if you really want to know the truth.
So, I mean, I don't understand, like, okay.
They put in crazy restrictive rules to keep the signs as little as possible.
Well, and it makes sense. You don't want huge signs dominating the landscape. You want everything to be neat and attractive and relatively uniform. But the problem with this variance in my mind is it's not fair that this business owner can only have a little sign, like the ones on each side of him, when the business at the end has that huge sign.
Yeah.
So they got a variance, they were here before the law came in, I don't know why. That's the inequity in my mind that makes me stumble over this one.
Well, I mean, pretty
Sherman,
basic sense to me. But, go ahead.
Sherman-Williams was grandfathered in.
That's what we believe, that it was grandfathered in, that it existed way back. And so therefore it's grandfathered in. And now that the rules have come in for size of signs.
And everybody else signs meet the requirement.
Yeah.
It's just Sherman-Williams that does not.
That is correct. That is correct. So the
We've
question,
also given the Post expanded signs, we gave the Methodist Church expanded signs, we've given McDonald's and AT&T, and, I mean,
I'm with Phil on this one.
if you're gonna do that for all these corporations, then why can't you do it for the little
Small
guys?
business, yeah. So may I ask questions of the owner or the sign painter? Has the sign already been made, or you're trying to get approval before you build it?
No, ma'am. We was kinda under the assumption that most of the time they all approved if we go through the process that we're going through now. And we also just figured since the other sign with Sherman-Williams is actually twice as big as that sign.
Right.
It's at least, this is like 24 feet long. That other sign is 40 feet long. And as far as in the proportion of like the square footage of this versus the square footage of this Sherman-Williams sign, this is much smaller within what we're talking about. It's much smaller as far as with the percentage of the frontage of that whole building in comparison to Sherman-Williams sign.
Yes, sir. I understand. My question is, has the sign been built?
Yes, ma'am.
So you've already built it this big, 24 feet long?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, all right, is there a motion from council?
Well, I want to make a statement, in the future, don't do that again, go to build a sign. Don't do that again,
Yeah,
now.
not maybe.
Please don't do that again, that's out of order, okay? Don't you do that.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
I will approve
with
it this
staff-
time, but don't you do that no more.
Is that with staff conditions?
Yes.
Okay, all right, is there a second?
Yeah,
So we're voting to grant the variance to allow them to put the sign up, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a
Okay, yes.
second? We have the motion on the floor there, okay, we have a second. All those in favor? All those in
Mayor,
favor?
if I may, just real quick before we vote, since then we'll move on after we vote. But, I can't even tell you how many times these signs come up. I mean, do we need to revisit this ordinance so we can, because I gotta say, I mean, I understand wanting to have small signs in certain areas, downtown, things like that. That's Northside Drive, and it faces Save-A-Lot, and, even the city's own, Public Works Department. So, I mean, it's not like, I mean, that, if there's any place in the city, you're supposed to have a sign that people can see it as they drive by it. It's certainly Northside Drive, so, and that picture, if you saw it, that was standing on the corner of Zetterauer, which was not very far away, and you can see those signs are pretty hard to see, so. I mean, if we want our businesses to be successful, they need to be able to be seen, so that's all I have to say.
And so you voting?
Yeah, I'm gonna vote. Yeah, I'm gonna vote.
All right, all right, so that's, I get the first, the second, then I asked for everybody's vote, I got two, didn't feel.
And all three say.
Okay,
All in favor, yeah.
all right, let it show that agenda item 3 has passed with staff, recommendations. Agenda item 7. All right, we move down to agenda item 8, consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2021-18. A resolution authorizing the destruction of certain municipal records. Mr. Penny, if you give us some insight on that.
Mayor, with the council, there are guidelines, according to the Georgia Records Act, for how we can dispose of records. And so we have recommendations from the Public Works and Engineering for disposal of a number of boxes of records that comply with the guidelines. We also have recommendations from the city clerk's office for disposal of documents. Some of them are license applications, some of them are old agenda material, and then we have recommendation from the finance department, municipal court, and customer service for disposal of records. And all of them comply with the Georgia Records Act, and we recommend that you authorize us to destroy these records because they meet those guidelines.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion by council?
Mr. Mayor, I apologize, I forgot to call Leah and ask first. I know we have a contract for having this done. Do we know if our contractor actually recycles them after they shred them, or do we know what they do with them?
Actually, we don't really have a contract per se that we do it yearly, because there's been times that we haven't done a destruction in like a whole year.
Okay.
So what we do is we do call around, however, administration does use a shredding company that we will call, and I will make sure and see if they do recycle their stuff.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, let it show that agenda item 8 has passed. We move down to agenda item 9, consideration of a motion to approve the proposed Statesboro Youth Connect program with the authorization of an expenditure of $25,000 to use as stipends for participants. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, as I outlined in the memo to you, Mayor and Councilman Boyd both approached me about opportunities to work with young folks and give young people an opportunity to experience work and to do some mentoring. And what this program does actually helps with giving students classroom time, learn about work ethics, learn about interviewing, learn about preparing a resume, learn about the things that they need to do to prepare them for the work world. And what this program would allow us to do is to work with young folks in our community, grades 9 through 12, where they will actually be employed through the city for a 5-week period. And what we're proposing is a pilot program for this year that will be operated by our Human Resources Department that would work with 15 to 20 young people that they would have to apply for a job with the city of Statesboro. They would spend time with in class, and then we would provide them with civic opportunities to work with city organizations, with nonprofit organizations, with even private entities, to give them exposure to the work world. And what we're recommending is they be compensated with a stipend, which is $7.25 an hour. This project is normally something that we would probably be looking for a nonprofit organization that could actually administer. And what would happen is our funds would be utilized to cover the stipend. But because we're just proposing this project, the city would actually operate it this year with the hopes that if you will allow us to do it in future years, we'd look to partner with someone in our community that might be able to administer the program. But for this year, Mr. Pine sitting back there behind me, he is it, along with hopefully an intern from the manager's office and the intern from the mayor's office and other folks in the community, the youth commission, looking to work with them as well to provide the a good experience for these young folks in the community. And so if you will, we do have funds available in the budget. In the council budget, there's a commission expenditure of about $15,000 that has not been used this year. And this fiscal year won't be long for it to be over. And then we also have some other line items that we can find the money, so we won't have to go to fund balance. We can actually use existing funds in order to be able to fund this program. And we would recommend that you allow us to do this.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Then move down to agenda item 10, consideration of a motion to approve the purchase of 40 Scott self-contained breathing apparatus cylinders from Hydrostat Incorporated in the amount of $34,886.40.
Mayor and council, these are simply buying the cylinders for our firefighters. When they go into a fire, they have to have take their own air. And so these are the cylinders that we would purchase, and so we recommend the approval of the purchase.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there's no discussion by council, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let it show that agenda item 10 is passed. We'll move down to agenda item 11. Consideration of a motion to approve the purchase of 20 Scott X3 Pro SCBAs and 20 SCBA masks under the Georgia State contract, hashtag 99999-SPD-SPD, quadruple 0156 to Fisher Scientific in the amount of $177,149. Mr. Penny, will you give us some insight?
Mayor and members of the council, this is actually the equipment that those cylinders fit into for our firefighters. It's the backpack that they would carry the equipment with them. And this is actually off state contract. So we recommend that you approve the purchase of this equipment to go along with the self-contained breathing apparatus.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Don't put that many nines in a row with me. All right, any discussion by council? All right, no discussion by council. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 12, consideration of a motion to approve change orders number 1 through 6 with John Lavender and Associates for the Littlemore Park and Great Street Park project in an amount not to exceed $349,808.70, and to authorize the mayor to execute contract document amendments to proceed with construction of services and products. Mr. Penny, if you'll give us some insight into this.
Mayor and members of the council, when you approved the parks projects, we told you at that time we were at about $2.9 million. But we also told you at that time that we would be coming back to you because there were some things that were not included, but they were allowed for in the funds that we borrowed to do the project. And so, and I just want to say this right up front to you, we'll be back. But today what we're asking you for is we need to include some the cost for landscaping at both parks. And so that's included in the change order. Also, at Grady Street Park, for example, that fencing that goes around the park is not a very attractive fence. So what we will be removing that, and we will be putting up a 4-foot high, it's not wrought iron, but it's more attractive, make it more appealing, similar to what's gonna go around the pool area down at Louetta Moore. And so we wanted to recommend that to you. But we also, as we're making these improvements, like at Louetta Moore, we wanna make sure that the existing stuff is freshened up, so we don't look out and we got new here and it's old here. And so part of it is replacing the fencing with black fencing, resurfacing painting the courts, also replacing the backboards, and all of that will be done so that when we have a grand opening, you look like you've just gone into a completely new place. And so that's the recommendation. We do recommend that you approve the change order for $349,808.70. And again, I just simply say, there's more to come, but it's all should come within the budget and the allocated funds that you authorize us to borrow.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So
Oh,
moved.
is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Let's show that agenda item 12 is passed. We move down to agenda item 13. Consideration of a motion to award a contract to Xylem Dewatering Solutions Incorporated in the amount of $46,260.22 for the installation of one lift station pump. Mr. Penny.
I really can't add anything
I know.
there. We recommended you approve. This is a piece of equipment for our waste treatment plant.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve agenda item 13?
So
So,
moved.
Is there a second?
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let us show that agenda item 13 is passed. We move down to agenda item 14. Consideration of a motion to award a contract to Y Delta Incorporated in the amount of $32,820 to replace windows in the wastewater treatment plant. Mr. Penny. Okay. All right, any discussion by council? Seeing that there's no further discussion by council, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item 15, other business from city council. Any discussion by council?
I got a couple of announcements, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
I want to commend Mr. John Washington and Amanda Clements and KSBB on some upcoming events and make people aware. This Saturday, we're going to have a shred day. You can bring up to 3 boxes of paper, like old bank statements, anything that's confidential that you want to have shredded and disposed of safely, and they do recycle when they take it away. That'll be from 9 till 12 this Saturday at the Visitor Center. The other thing coming up this week is Earth Day, Thursday, April the 22nd. If you don't already have plans to celebrate Earth Day, you can come out and help the KSBB, Keep Statesboro Bullet Beautiful, volunteers in cleaning up the creek. This will be over near the Honey Bowen building, between Honey Bowen and Wendy's. They're going to clean up that creek in there. So if you want to get your hands dirty and your feet wet and help make that little piece of Statesboro cleaner, come out and do that to celebrate Earth Day this week.
All right, thank you. All right, any further discussion by council?
I have just a minor question. So the old fencing, what are you guys doing with that? Is that just gonna be discarded?
What happens with the old fencing?
The contractor will be taking that down and dealing with that one. Not sure if they're recycling that material or repurposing it, but that's factored into the cost pricing that they provided for us.
So
They
that's
get-
a,
they
that's
get
how I
to
don't
keep
know.
it.
Well, they carry it away.
They take it away and they may reuse it, but that's part of the calculation when they give us the cost
Okay, so they may reuse
They-
old
they may
fencing
re-
on a new project?
somewhere else.
They may.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you, Paulette. I don't wanna see it go to the dump. I would love to, for
Well,
that is-
them to be recycling or make it
Asking for
available.
the old fence.
But that is, again, a part of that calculation,
Mhm.
that it may get reused, but we can't take it down and give it to somebody else. So that's part of that,
Okay.
that trading process.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That answered my question.
All right, any further business by city council? All right, seeing that it's not, we'll move on to agenda item 16, city manager comments.
Mayor, members of the council, a couple of things I need to inform you about. We had to do an emergency purchase for the rotary fine screens at the wastewater treatment plant. There was a failure and it was beyond repair, and that amount was, there's a sole source for that piece of equipment. And it was $48,482. That was last week, and so I authorized the repair of that piece of equipment. So I'm required to report to council that we made an emergency purchase in order to make that repair. Okay. Then the next item, wanted to make sure all the council was on board and ready, prepared for next Tuesday from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock for a budget workshop where we will present the proposed 22 fiscal year annual budget. Just wanted to make sure I send it out, and I've heard from a couple of folks.
You good?
I just want to make sure.
What's going on, Councilwoman Shea?
I'll make it work.
I'm sorry. Last year, we did 2 or 3 days. This year, we said we're gonna just do 1 day. And unless y'all want to meet more.
No.
So we look forward to seeing everybody next Tuesday at 2 o'clock. The other thing I just wanted to mention to you, we had our second newsletter that came out, and I want to appreciate Lane, and the folks at the Herald, I think, that put it together for us. And very well done, and employees like to see their pictures, and so.
Yeah, that was sharp.
So we just wanted to call that out. And I think that's it, Mayor.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, we'll move on to agenda item 17, which is general public comments. Are there any public comments? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a need for executive session?
There is, Mayor, personnel matter.
Okay.
Should be brief.
Okay, all right, thank you, all right. So we move down to agenda item 18, consideration of a motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters in accordance with OCGA 50-14-3B. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Um,
All right.